Hi, I'm Paul Glasgow. I'm shooting a Kimber Super Carry Pro HD.
I'm Chad Marino, and I'm shooting the Kimber Super Carry Pro, chambered in .45.
And you're watching Legally Armed America.
The TV show.
Range is hot.
Think I messed something up here. What is wrong with this thing? Okay, where are the instructions?
Hey friends, welcome to a segment that we call What Not to Do. The reason why is because we've already done it. We've done it wrong, and we don't want you to make the same mistakes that we've made. And believe me, I am the world's biggest klutz in the shop. So I'm gonna show you things that I've done incorrectly in hopes that you don't make the same mistakes, because believe me, there are better ways to do practically everything that I've done in the shop, and most of us that work in here. I've got this little jewel that I'm going to show you today. This thing here for a klutz like me in the shop is a dream come true. It's actually called soft jaws for a vise. Let's take a closer look. Soft jaws for a vise are some of the coolest things that I've ever seen. What it is, it's basically rubberized pieces that are magnetized on the back side that snap right onto your vise. They snap right on there. Both sides snap right on and off. It's really cool, and they actually have this other piece for klutzes like me that goes across the threaded area right there whenever you're working on it. And in case you drop, I don't know, whatever you're working on, a barrel, a slide, or anything like that, it basically protects everything from all of your metal parts from hitting anything and marring it and scratching it. It can be used in many, many different applications. They have two different models. One of the models is basically flat all the way across here and doesn't have these grooves right in this area right here. If you notice, this thing has grooves right in here. That's to put your barrel in, to lay the barrel in, or if you want to do it from up top, you can do the same thing up here, and this thing will grip it without putting any unnecessary pressure on whatever you're trying to grip. You can grip your frame in case you're trying to do a little bit of polishing inside your frame area or something like that. You can grip a slide if you're trying to fit a bushing or do some kind of slide or barrel type work. Or this particular model perfectly holds a rifle barrel in the event you're maybe doing some gas block work or something like that, where you need a third or maybe even a fourth set of hands to hold your rifle in place. Again, if you're anything like me in the shop, I'm a total klutz. These soft jaws for your vise are the ideal thing for whenever you need that third hand in the shop. And believe me, it happens to me a lot. These things here have saved a lot of finishes on a lot of guns that I've worked on. And trust me, they're well worth the money. Speaking of money, I got these at Brownells. They make the kind that does not have the barrel groove in it. They're just flat. They're 35 bucks. These were 39 bucks. 4 bucks extra for the grooves to put your barrel in. Believe me, it's worth it because your barrel doesn't roll around in there if you've got it in there, whether it's vertical or horizontal. These things are a lifesaver. I highly recommend these. Again, you're watching What Not to Do in the Shop. This is what you need to do in the shop. These things are great.
Think I messed something up here. What is wrong with this thing? Okay, where are the instructions? Move!
Somebody picked the wrong diner.
Welcome to the Legally Armed America Gun Garage.
Okay, this is, I have 20 rounds of 30-06 that I just fired. So what I have here is once fired brass. Now, in reloading, there's several steps you have to take, which I'm going to try and go through each and every one. The main thing is safety. On powders, we'll get into that later, primers. But right now, we're just going to process the brass for reloading. Okay, I'm going to take out my 20 rounds, put in this little container here. Okay, first thing we're going to do, we're going to resize. Now, a lot of people in reloading, what they do, the first thing they do, they take their brass and they polish it. I don't do that, and I'll explain why. This once fired brass is basically clean. It really doesn't need to be polished first time. Now, if this brass was dirty, something brass I wasn't familiar with or dirty, then I would go ahead and polish it first. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is start the resizing process, and this is how we do it. There's several ways to lubricate a case. If you do not lubricate a case and you run it up into the die, it will stick. And I'm very partial to RCBS equipment. Of course, all the manufacturers, they probably make a stuck case remover, but trust me, if you do not put enough lubricant on the case, it will stick in the die and you will have problems. It's really a pain to get out. So I'm very generous. I like this spray lube. I used to use a pad. Let me show you one. This is an RCBS pad. This is old school, but a lot of people still use them. You put a lubricant on the pad and then you rub your case. Now the trouble with this is, if you put too much lubricant, you'll get what they call dents in your brass. It doesn't hurt anything, but it's just not cosmetic pleasing. I like my brass. When I get finished my reload, I like to look like a brand spanking new round from the factory. So right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and, matter of fact, I'm going to change containers, get one a little bit more open to what I do, put my brass in here and I get them face up so I get lubricant inside the case mouth. Now the good thing about this lubricant, it's not an oil base. It's more alcohol based and it dries real quick. And the good thing, if you have some residue from this left in the case, it will not kill the primer. If you use an oil base lubricant, there's a lot of lubricants out there that if you leave residue and it gets to the primer, it will kill the primer. So when you go to shoot it, nothing will happen. But this, I use Dillon case lube. And it doesn't take very much. There's 2 sprays. I come in, I mix my brass all up real good. So I make sure all the cases have lubricant. And one more little spray. And I'll put them back in my smaller container. I let them dry a little bit because that alcohol, especially in the heat of Louisiana, it doesn't take long for that lubricant to dry. And it leaves a lanolin on the case, which is lubricant. That lubricant will not evaporate. Okay, first thing we need to do, we need to set up our dies. And as you see, we have several dies here. For this, I need a shell holder for 30-06. For Lee, it's a number 2. For RCBS, it's a number 3. All the manufacturers make different
shell holders. Shell holders are the same, but they'll have a different number on them. So if you buy different manufacturer, you got to make sure you get the right number for your particular caliber you're reloading. Okay, I've got a number 2 Lee here, which is for the 30 caliber, 30-06. It'll do several cases, different caliber case. It'll do 45, 308. There's probably a couple other calibers, but 30-06, 308, 45 for sure. Okay, now I'm coming to my dies. I have a set of 30-06 dies, RCBS. Okay, you have 2 dies on what they call a bottleneck case. You see how the case will taper and go to that? That's what they call a bottleneck case. Bottleneck cases take 2 dies, a sizing die and a cedar die. If you get a straight wall pistol, let's say a pistol case like a 38 Special, any straight wall case, it will have a 3 die set, and we may have another segment on that later on between the two. But right now we're just going to do 30-06. Okay, my case is lubricated. The sizing die, I've already got it preset. But what this does, it does 2 things. It brings the case back to factory specs of the diameter and the inside of the mouth for seating the bullet. It also deprimes the case. It knocks out the old primer. Basically, in reloading, what we're doing, we're taking a spent case and we're bringing it back to factory specs to powder, bullet, and primer. And that's what reloading's all about. Okay, I'm screwing the die in. It's already preset. If you have to adjust it, there is basically the way to do it. The top of this shell holder, when you screw your die in, it will touch the bottom of the die. Now, on these dies, that's how it's done. You got a little bit of over travel there. You got to make sure the bottom of the shell holder touches the bottom of the die. Now, if you have, and I'm not going to get too much into it, but if you have carbide pistol dies, if the carbide touches the bottom of the, if the shell holder touches the bottom of the die, a carbide die, it will break the die. It will shatter that carbide. So you got to just be careful, you know, with carbide dies that you don't touch it. But in rifle bottleneck, they make carbide dies, but they're very, very expensive, and very, very few people use them. Okay, I'm gonna put my case. I'm gonna put it in the shell holder. Okay, it's in the shell holder, and now I'm gonna come up. It's going inside the die. I just heard the primer pop out.
Sir.
I just with the case resized, it's back to factory, and I'm fixing to put get ready for reloading. Now I'm going to do all 20 cases just like this. I'm going to resize and knock out the old primer. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just resizing the case and knocking out the old primer. The noise you hear, that screeching noise, that's just the button going inside the case. It's resizing that neck to accept the 30 caliber bullet. Okay, that's 120 rounds we've just resized. Okay, I just knocked out the 20 primers, and there's our primers in this little tray here. Okay, we have sized and we have knocked out the old primer of our 30-06 cases. Now the next step. Every time you shoot one of these cases, whether it's first time or second, third, fourth time, every time you shoot a brass case, that brass will stretch. So we have to worry about the overall length of the case. Trim length on 30-06 is 2.484 trim length. And if it's anything over that, then I like to trim it to the minimum. You have about 10 thousandths play in there of over. You can go to You can go 10 thousandths over 2.484, but I like to trim it to the minimum length.
Are the president's kids more important than yours? Then why is he skeptical about putting armed security in our schools when his kids are protected by armed guards at their school? Mr. Obama demands the wealthy pay their fair share of taxes, but he's just another elitist hypocrite when it comes to a fair share of security. Protection for their kids and gun-free zones for ours.
Who is it?
Somebody picked the wrong girl.
What we're going to do today is we're going to demonstrate what makes a shotgun an assault weapon and what makes one a non-assault weapon. We're also going to show what the amount of damage each one does, one more or less than the other. You'll have to wait and see. There are a couple of things that make this particular shotgun an assault weapon by the government's definition. One of them is a collapsible M4 stock. As you can see, this stock collapses back and forth. The second thing is a pistol grip. This Remington 870 Express Tactical has a pistol grip on it that can be replaced along with this M4 stock. The third thing is this flash suppressor up here. So we've got the flash suppressor, the pistol grip, and the collapsible stock here. We're going to show what kind of damage this particular shotgun does in its assault weapon mode, and then we're going to make some modifications to this same gun and fire it at this same target and show you what the difference in damage, if any, that there are between the two. So the federal government has decided that this is what makes my gun an assault weapon and not this. So by taking this collapsible stock and pistol grip off of this weapon, somehow or another this made it an assault weapon and extremely dangerous and worthy of making unlawful to own or purchase. And somehow or another this gun that shoots the same round, makes the same size hole, somehow or another is safe and okay for you and I to buy. Oh wait. Now it's not an assault weapon.
I like to picture Jesus as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Hey guys, I want you to go check out a really cool clothing site, 2aclothing.com. Again, that's 2aclothing.com. 2aclothing.com is the official gear provider of Legally Armed America. They provide everything from t-shirts, stickers. There's so many cool shirts out there. There's tons of different designs. The cool thing about it, it's also an on-demand type clothing company. If you see something you like and they don't have the color you want, all you gotta do is request it. The shirts can be made in a variety of different colors. It's really, really cool. If there's something you see that we don't have, it's just a matter of sending us an email and requesting it, and guess what? 2A Clothing will get your design or your shirt or your cap or even your decal and sticker made, custom made for you, and ship it out to you. Check it out, www.2aclothing.com, 2aclothing.com. Again, official gear, shirt, everything provider of Legally Armed America. Check it out.
We have an active shooter. Stand by for further information.
Tragedies such as the 2007 mass shooting on the campus of Virginia Tech, the 2009 shooting at the Fort Hood, Texas military post, and the 2011 attempted assassination of Representative Gabrielle Giffords at a public appearance in Arizona are all examples of active shooter situations. An active shooter is an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people inside an occupied structure or outside in a populated area. In most cases, there is no pattern or method to their selection of victims. Active shooter situations are unpredictable and evolve quickly. It is important to be prepared for such an event. Make it a practice to identify potential escape routes and have a plan in mind, even if you are just visiting a facility. In the event of a shooting at your location, you must quickly determine the most reasonable way to protect your own life. You will need to determine if the best course of action is to evacuate or to hide. Call 911 when it is safe to do so. If there is an accessible escape route, attempt to evacuate. Be sure to leave your belongings behind. Help others escape if possible, but do not attempt to move wounded people. Evacuate regardless of whether others agree to follow. Warn individuals not to enter an area where the active shooter may be, and follow the instructions of any police officers. If evacuation is not the best option, find a place to hide where the shooter is less likely to find you. And be sure your hiding place does not trap or restrict you or your options for movement. Consider the difference between cover and concealment. Cover will protect you from gunfire, and concealment will hide you from the view of the shooter. Quickly choose the best option. If you are caught out in the open and cannot conceal yourself or take cover, you might consider trying to overpower the shooter with whatever means are available. To protect your hiding place, lock the door if you can. Block the door with heavy furniture, and close, cover, and move away from windows. Hide behind large items such as cabinets or desks. Remain quiet. Silence your cell phone and/or pager. Even the vibration setting can give away a hiding position. When you call 911, remember to tell the operator the location of the active shooter. If there are multiple shooters, physical description of and number of weapons held by the shooter, as well as the number of potential victims at the location. When law enforcement arrives on the scene, their primary goal is to eliminate the threat and stop the shooter as soon as possible. First responders will not be able to stop to help injured persons until the environment is safe. Knowing what to expect will help keep you calm and allow law enforcement to quickly neutralize the threat. Officers may arrive in teams with tactical equipment such as vests, helmets, and rifles. They will need to take command of the situation. Expect to experience officers shouting orders and even pushing people to the ground for their safety. It is possible that officers from multiple jurisdictions will arrive on the scene. When law enforcement officials arrive, it is important that you keep your hands visible at all times. Avoid making any sudden movements. Avoid pointing, screaming, and/or yelling. Put down any items. Immediately raise your hands and spread your fingers. Remain calm and follow instructions. Do not stop to ask officers for help when evacuating. Just proceed in the direction from which officers are entering the location. For more awareness resources, please visit dhs.gov/critical infrastructure.
I like to picture Jesus as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Thanks for watching this episode of Legally Armed America.
Stay tuned next time and we'll have more segments of Reloading with Mr. Terry at the Lake Charles Gun Club. Range is hot. Hey guys, I want you to go check out a really cool clothing site, 2aclothing.com. Again, that's 2aclothing.com. 2aclothing.com is the official gear provider of Legally Armed America. They provide everything from t-shirts, stickers. There's so many cool shirts out there. There's tons of different designs. The cool thing about it, it's also an on-demand type clothing company. If you see something you like and they don't have the color you want, all you gotta do is request it. The shirts can be made in a variety of different colors. It's really, really cool. If there's something you see that we don't have, it's just a matter of sending us an email and requesting it. And guess what? 2A Clothing will get your design or your shirt or your cap or even your decal and sticker made, custom made for you, and ship it out to you. Check it out, www.2aclothing.com, 2aclothing.com. Again, official gear, shirt, everything provider of Legally Armed America. Check it out.